Welcome back, friends. I'm not sure if you've noticed, but Canva has added some new updates, which are, for me, really surprising. Pleasantly surprising, that is. Now, if you learned anything in this tutorial, press the like button, subscribe, and turn that notification bell on. If you want to hear more about my live classes, just ask me in the comments and I'll give you more information. So today I'm going to show you how Canva has added a native gradient function for text. So we're going to come on over here to text, and I'm going to add a heading. Doesn't matter what kind of text you add. I'm going to click in there, and in all caps, I'm going to type Argonauts. I'll make that a little bit larger, like that. I'm going to come up here to the font selector, and I'm going to change the font to a font called Wildcat College. This is it right here. And I'm now going to go to my text color, and we're going to notice this panel down here. It's got new colors, a new color panel. They're gradient colors. And you don't have to necessarily select one of these. You have the option to create your own gradient color. So what we're going to do is we're going to apply a basic gradient. So I'm going to select this blue here, and that will change my text color to this wonderful gradient of different blue colors. Now, if you're wondering how do you go in and customize that gradient, you can just come up here to the add new color, and that will open up the gradient color that you have currently applied. You'll notice that when we open up the custom color, we have the option for a solid color, and we have the option for a gradient color. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to click on the second color right here, and I'm going to change the color slightly to make it a little bit darker. So I'll move that over, and I'll move this over to make it a little bit darker like that. And so that is our first color combination. Now we'll notice down underneath the gradient colors that we also have an option for style. So right now we see that the lightest color, or the color on the left side, starts over here on the left, and then it gravitates over to the darker color. That's the style right here. We have this one where it goes darker on the bottom and then lighter on the top. We have this one here that is kind of the opposite of this one, where it starts from the bottom and gravitates up. We have this one that is a center, and then this one also that is actually the opposite of this one. It starts here and it comes up. So this is our first one, and for our first text, I'm going to come over to Elements, and I'm going to add a orb. Okay, this is what I want to add. I'm just going to add it right behind my text like that, just as a little bit of a decoration. I'm going to take a copy of this. I'm going to get rid of that orb. And for this text, I'm going to change it to Atlanta. And for the font, I'm going to change it to Futura Black. If I can spell that right. Now, if you get this purple box at the bottom that says change all, and you want to change all your text in your entire document, you can go ahead and select that. I'm not, because I don't want to change the text up top here. So I'm going to leave that the way it is. What I am going to do is I'm going to go into the color, and I'm going to choose this red color here. Now I'm going to come back up to custom color, and I'm going to add another color. I'm going to add black. So I'll just take my slider and come all the way down here. And I'm also going to get rid of this orange one. So I'll just X that out and leave it like that. Now, if I wanted to add another color, I can always just keep adding another color and customizing that the way I like. And for the style, I'm just going to keep it the way it is. and I will click outside. I'll come back to elements and I'm going to search for a falcon. I'll come into see all and I'll just add this one right here and I'll put that right behind my text. So I'll click position, I'll go to layers. I'm going to grab that falcon and just bring it right behind my text. I'll make a copy of it and layer the copy right on top. And I'll come to transparency and I'm going to turn down the transparency a little bit. That way I can see the text, but I can also see the falcon. I'm going to make a duplicate of this page. I'm going to get rid of that falcon. I'll get rid of both of the falcons. I'm going to change the text to a text called Trend Sans Fur. And this is what it looks like right here. I'm going to select this one right here. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. And in here, I'm going to type Pittsburgh. I'll make that a little bit smaller so I can get it all on one line. And I'm going to tighten it up a little bit, so I'll bring in the letter spacing like that. I'm going to go back into the text color, and this time I'm going to change it to yellow, red, and blue. So I'll just select the one that's closest, this one here, and I'll come up to customize. So that's okay. I'm going to change this one to yellow. And I'm going to add another one for the blue. So I'll bring this slider all the way over here to this side. And I'll bring it down to make it a little bit of a darker blue. And this time I'm going to select this one right here, where the color starts with the darkest one on the bottom and then gravitates towards the color on the left. Now I want you to notice something with this specifically. If I create another line of text in this text box, it's actually going to carry that gradient color throughout all of the text in that text box, which I think is really, really awesome. So instead of repeating that gradient pattern for every single line of text, it kind of just carries it on all throughout the text. So I think that's really, really cool. We're going to go ahead and do one more thing on this text, and we're going to add a text effect. So I'm going to come up here to effects. I'm going to add outline, and if you don't want the standard outline, we can also just change it to a black like that. Now for this one, I'm going to come to elements and I'm going to search for a circle. I'll go into my recently used and I'll add this circle right here. And I'll change the color to black like that. All right, so this is our third design. I have one more design, and at the end of my last design, like I have been asking you the past few times, I want you to vote, like, which one do you like best? Which effect, which gradient effect do you like best? All right, so I'm going to duplicate this page. I'm going to get rid of that circle. And in this text box, I'm going to change it to Tennessee. I'm going to change the font to a font called Copperplate Gothic. So there it is right there. I'm also going to change the letter spacing back to normal. And I'm For this text, we actually have the option to make it bold. So I'm going to make it bold. For the color, I'm going to come back into the font color. So I'm going to choose this color, and I'm going to come up to the add a new color to customize the colors in this text. So for this text, I'm going to change the purple to a blue. Now we also have the option to actually pick a color. So if you had like different colors on your workspace, you could use the eyedropper to match the color exactly too. So that is, amazing. For the second color, I'm going to change it to red. So I'll bring this all the way over here to this side, like that. Now we notice there's a little bit of purple in the middle. I really don't want the purple. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and add some white. So I'm going to grab another color, and for this one I'm going to make it white, and then I'm going to move, and then I'm going to take it and move it right in between the blue and the red. And so this is what it would look like right here. And again, you have all these different options. For this one, I'm actually going to use this one in the middle where we have that little bit of white coming through the word. And I think I'm going to make this a little bit lighter. I do have that black border effect on the text. Let's come back up to effects, and let's change the black border to a white border. Now, I know you can't see that white border right now. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to make a copy of the text and set it right on top. We're going to go to position and layers. I'm going to grab that text that's underneath, and we're going to go back into effects, and we're actually going to change it to shadow. And I'm going to use the blur option to create a subtle shadow right behind the text. So there it is right there. And for this specific text, I'm going to add some circles. So I'm going to click C to add a circle to my workspace. And I'm going to center it like that. I'm going to make this circle transparent, but I'm going to add a border. So I'll leave that black border the way it is. I'm going to add another circle or duplicate it. And for this circle, I'm going to change it to red. I'm going to add another circle. And for this circle, I'm going to change the color to blue. And I'm going to take all three of those circles, and I'm going to make them just the stroke a little bit thicker, maybe like that. I'm going to go position and layers. I'm going to take those circles and I'm going to move them behind the text like that. And I'll make them a little bit larger. And I'm just going to make sure that they are centered like that. All right, so this is our final text with that gradient option. Which one do you like best? So here they are right here. There's the Argonauts, there's the Atlanta, there's Pittsburgh, and there's Tennessee. So which one do you like best? Vote now, let me know in the comments, and let me know, how do you like this new gradient feature for text? Let me know in the comments. If you learned anything in this tutorial, press the like button, subscribe, and turn that notification bell on. And if you want to learn more about my live classes, let me know and I'll give you more information. Bye for now.